"Mama, Mama, breakfast?" my 3-year-old daughter asked me after waking up from an afternoon nap. Or yawning and stretching, "Is it time for dinner?" when she woke up at 6 a.m. and we needed to get ready for daycare and work. Her complete and utter disorientation as to what time of day it was and what to expect next had me flabbergasted, a tad bewildered, but also awed at the innocence, the pureness of a child that is trying to make sense of the rituals of day and night, that to us adults are so firmly established, but are so tumultuously foreign and full of possibilities to a toddler. So, in my puzzlement and awe, I started a little bedtime ritual of talking about what had happened during the day and what to expect when she woke up. If it was afternoon nap time, we talked about what we just had for lunch, games that we were going to play when she woke up, and the fact that the next meal would be dinner. And it was time to go to bed in the evening. We reflected on the day's adventures. Remember the blue playground and the friendly dog we met? We also talked about what we were going to do the next day, and that the next meal would be breakfast. It's funny looking back at all of this, how important the meals were in these rituals. We also talked about the sun setting and the moon rising. The moon. One of her first words was always a favorite. I grew to love the ritual of reflecting on all that we had done that day and looking forward to what was to come next. It made me appreciate the time we had spent together and the endless possibilities of future adventures. But it also made me feel grounded in the here and now. The joy of being with my children in the evening at bedtime, when time stands still, that magical time, the feeling of the present moment that is so firmly anchored between what has been and what is yet to come. This moment, this breath, us, now, here, together. It's precious. I continued this ritual for a long time with my children. It was eventually moved to the dinner table when they grew too old for nighttime stories and being tucked in by their mom. My rituals with my children found, as often happens, similarities in other areas of my life. As my children grew from toddlers to preschool and kindergartners, I began working at nearby Lincoln University, which is the nation's first chartered historically Black university. At Lincoln, I've had the blessing of being immersed in both African and African American cultural perspectives and practices, with the many symbols and concepts enriching campus life and dialogues in and out of the classroom. I love learning from both my students and faculty who grew up in cultures completely different from mine. One of my favorite symbols is the Sankofa bird. I might even have mentioned it here before. I am taken, as many of you might be, with the symbolism of the Sankofa bird from Ghana in West Africa. The symbol is based on a mythical bird with its feet firmly planted forward, but its head turned backwards, holding an egg or a seed. The image is printed on the front of your order of service today. The word Sankofa is from the Akan tribe of Ghana. The literal translation of the word and the symbol is reportedly, "It is not taboo to fetch what is at risk of being left behind." Another prominent translation is that you must reach back to reclaim that which is lost to be able to move forward. You must reach back to reclaim that which is lost to be able to move forward. Sankofa acknowledges that the past is part of our future. We cannot live with intentions for our futures without acknowledging our pasts. The Akan believe the past serves as a guide for planning the future. This wisdom that we learn from the past and our ancestors ensures a strong future. The Akan also believe that there must be movement and new learning as time passes. As the forward march proceeds, the knowledge of the past must never be forgotten. The egg in Sankofa's mouth holds the future. Today, we celebrate Kwanzaa and the harvest, which reminds us of all the hard work of farmers, pickers, packers, transporters, grocers, and many others to ensure that the end of the year brings a harvest feast. As the Aka knew and others around the world know, when we celebrate the harvest, we also make sure that we keep some seeds to plant in the coming year. Just like the egg in Sankofa's mouth, those seeds hold tremendous hope and value for a good harvest in the future. During the coldest and darkest time of the year, some of us, deprived of the joy of gardening, take the time to start planning for our future garden. Maybe you saved some seeds from your favorite hot peppers, pumpkins, or tomatoes. Or maybe you look forward to perusing the new seed catalogs that have just started to show up in the mail or in your inbox, like mine. Or maybe gardening is not your cup of tea at all, and you simply wait to see what the farm stands or your friends and neighbors will bring in the spring and summer. Regardless, there are lots of people out there who will rely on their past experiences to ensure that we have a bountiful harvest next year. Our intentions for the new year are a lot like seeds. They have great potential to blossom into fruition, but they need to be nurtured, encouraged, fed, and watered. And sometimes the new seedlings need new soil, just like we need new perspectives to be our best selves. Today is the last day of 2023. What better time to reflect on the past year and set our attentions for the new one? 2024, literally just around the corner. So in your order of service, you should find 2 pieces of paper, one with a few questions, and the other a blank piece of cardstock with seeds pressed into it. And this is a time where I need to give credit to the UUA, who put out a New Year's service with supporting materials. The sermon is available online, and it's preached by Reverend Dr. Sophia Bethencourt, our UUA president. The questions that you have in front of you are taken from her materials. We're now going to take some time to reflect on our own. So I'm going to read you the questions that you also have. What are you most proud of from 2023? In the last year, in what ways did your congregation or community encourage you to live more fully into all that you hold most precious? In what ways did they surprise you? In what ways did you surprise yourself? And what beauty are you calling into being for 2024? So we're going to take some time. I'm going to ask you to write your answers on the cardstock, or just breathe or whisper them into the paper. The beauty of this kind of paper is that it will absorb your intentions, whether you write or whisper them. And in that cardstock, there's also seeds pressed into it, and your little insert has instructions for how you can plant these seeds in 2024. So in 2 minutes or so, I'm going to ring the chime, after which I would like you to take some time to talk to your neighbor, and then we will take some time to share with the community. For those of you on Zoom, Jay will post the questions in the chat.